The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 17th day of June, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Linda's. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Michaela Ian, Larry Marshall Jr., and Leanna Lambert, who will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break. How are you both doing today?
I'm good. I have coffee today. My wonderful brother Trey dropped me off this amazing bag of coffee from Uganda that was purchased at the Griot, and I'm like, yes. So I'm in a great mood today.
Larry, I don't know if you saw yesterday, but I didn't know how it was gonna go. Once at the beginning of the show, she was like, "I haven't had my coffee today." I'm like, man, I hope she don't bite nobody off today, boy. But I'm happy you have your coffee.
Yeah.
Actually, a big welcome. This is Larry's first live show on the Daily Hour, and obviously we are going to be going in depth about the rejection by Somerset as far as the letter to participate in cup match. And Larry has some information to share directly from some of the horses' mouths themselves. So we're going to get into that. Just want to touch on before we get into anything, I just obviously want to say good morning to everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We do have another good one today, as the town crier, Ed Christopher, is coming on to discuss his role and share what's going on in the city of Hamilton. The Daily Play is name that place with a twist today. It's a little twist. It's a little twist. Let's put it this way: you'll get the answer and then a question after that. But
okay. I'm ready.
If you wake up early enough and you had the chance to catch Good Day Bermuda, they actually spoke about Juneteenth this morning. It was actually a good segment, and so I encourage anyone who hasn't watched it, go back to check out Jackie and Teresa as they spoke about Juneteenth, which was I guess passed in the House yesterday, or the Senate in the U.S. to become a federal holiday. Was it?
Yeah, they put it forward yesterday, and it was really, really interesting to see the reactions.
Okay, I have to read more. I just saw one story on it, so you want to check that out.
Yeah.
Also, definitely, very sad news. There was a shooting in Bermuda last night, and definitely sending out nothing but love and comfort to the individual and their family, and there's just the entire community, you know. These are the things you never want to speak about first thing. And also a big shout out to Jesse Seymour, well-known entertainer on the island. Jesse has been on this show earlier this year as we were speaking to about his mom, and hopefully she's doing well as well. But Jesse was involved in a bad accident, so we're just sending love and comfort, and our audience shows nothing but love. So to everyone in the audience, please send your love, thoughts, prayers to Jesse, as well as the victim of the shooting last night. But let's get into the conversation, you all. So it is official. The cricket game is not going to take place, and it seems like it's become a big thing. And obviously, I think all three of us are St. George's fans. So I want to preface that, because this conversation has nothing to do with what team you're rooting for.
No, it doesn't. But let's make it very clear at the outset. The reason that cup match isn't happening as we normally see cup match is because the Somerset Cricket Club have decided not to accept the challenge. So let's just get that very clear right at the beginning. Nothing to do with St. George's. We're ready. We're ready.
Yes, and it's unfortunate. I think most fans and people of Bermuda are disappointed that we don't have an opportunity, especially when we got the clearance from the government. And to just dig a little deeper into what Michaela just shared, the reasoning, Somerset released a press statement, and the reasoning was COVID-19 and general safety and well-being, along with cricket readiness. I can't remember the exact term they used. And if it's the logistics and they just say we can't pull it off because we can't afford to pay for the hotel rooms, the other this and whatnot, I get that. But the letter was very vague, and it didn't necessarily give enough reason as to why they can't put it off. And as far as cricket readiness, all around the world, we've seen organizations bend over backward to make sport happen. And I just don't understand. Yes, they have bigger budgets. I understand. But how can we make a decision based off of a bit and include cricket readiness when we still have about 6 weeks that are going? Not everyone is not everyone on the Somerset team it supports the decision. A good friend Stephen Otterbridge, he decided to speak out publicly and says, "Look, why aren't we playing the game? And we should play the game. It's not in the best interest of cricket." And I think a lot of people agree with that sentiment of, look, we need to make it happen some way, somehow. And,
Yeah.
if it's not health and safety as far as serious injury or damage, I don't understand why this game can't take place.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like as I've publicly said on here, I was originally of the mindset they're not fit. It's not going to be cut match like we know it to be. And then my good friend Jerome Hayward, who is a member of St. George's Cricket Club, he did a post yesterday, and he pretty much knocked me down a couple pegs because he was like, "Your ancestors will be rolling in their graves to hear you say something like that, because that's not what it was ever about. It was a game to celebrate emancipation." So we can still have a game, whether there's readiness, whether people are fit or not, whether we have scaffolding. And I quickly was like, you know what? He's kind of right.
Well, I disagree with him. I disagree with him for this very reason. That if it was what times have changed, we've evolved. And if it is about what he's talking about, then why the competitiveness? Why so much money involved? Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I get his point in terms of, when the game started, it wasn't about necessarily being the fittest or whatnot. But I tell you, if it's that easy, well, pick me for the team. Pick Michaela for the team.
Hey, you don't know nothing about my cricket skills.
Hey, Michaela's probably a better cricketer than me, but I'm just saying, like, I think I get his point because it is valid. It is valid.
Yeah.
Right? But I think times have evolved, and it's almost like, even though it's amateur sport, they're still going out there and they want to win. Now, I will say this, and I don't want to get off topic because I definitely want to hear more of what you guys have to say, but I want to say this. I said to you, Larry, a couple weeks ago that I think, and you said it actually, sorry, you said it, and I responded to it, that if the game doesn't take place, this is a perfect opportunity to actually use it to educate many Bermudians as to the history, right? Because if you ask many Bermudians, I think it was comedian Robbie Sumner who was like, "Yo, let's talk about the friendly societies and how it began. How many people that go down there and set up and drink and so on, like, do they even understand the history?"
Right.
So for me, if I'm St. George's or Somerset at this point, I'm creating a fair at the grounds, right? Something, and we're gonna say, let's set up some history, like this station here. You can have former players that can say, I would play it in 1954 and this and that. This is an educational opportunity that I see. It's an opportunity. Go ahead, Sarah Lee.
I get that, and I think 6 weeks ago, and we didn't know if 8 weeks ago, maybe we didn't know if anything was going to happen. I'm all for that, but given the green light from government to say that we can have a game and whatnot, I just can't understand why. So I support in what you're saying, and that education should be happening, period. It's a booth at the game, and then maybe that's something that they can incorporate for future years. But it's critical, and I think that Cup Match, and in particular Somerset right now, are just taking for granted the people and the people's involvement of Cup Match. It's no guarantee that people will come back and say, you know what, we're going to walk through those gates and we're going to support these clubs now and give them our time and stuff. People may say, you know what, it's not worth the hassle. I might cup match is just starting to get crowds back at a huge amount, and I think this is something that possibly isn't in the best interest. We don't know what this effect will do for sponsors. If I'm government, do I now back this event? They probably won't be government, but I would be like, we gave you an opportunity and you said no. Next year, don't come to me for money. Like it's so many different things.
That's an interesting point of view. And I just also want to throw this out there. If St. George's had the cup, would Somerset be in the same mind frame?
Well, hold on. We have a comment. I did see a comment, Elizabeth, and I think she's being facetious, but she said Somerset wouldn't host and make money last year, so Somerset don't want St. George's to make a little money this year. Now, she may be joking, and I think Michaela's comment is valid. If the shoe was on the other foot, would the react like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it, you know, because remember the discussion last year was once we knew the game was not gonna take place, people were saying, oh well, Somerset should get to host it next year, and then people were like, no, like, you know, it should remain the same. So is this kind of like a no, you didn't let us host last year, we're not accepting the invite this year?
Honestly, if that's kind of like where it's coming from, that's petty and sad. Like if that's part of the decision, that's really sad.
Yeah.
Because you're making everyone else suffer as a result.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think the level of petty is, it has a bit to do, and I've talked to a good bit of players on both sides and a bit of management on both sides, and you heard this inkling of, well, we're not ready as players, and St. George's might beat us. And if that's the reasoning, I'm not there. I actually think Somerset has a far stronger team, and I'm a St. George's fan. But I will throw out this: I think the level of petty is so bad that I think if the rules were reversed, St. George's wouldn't want to have cup match.
Well, let me ask the audience the question, and we're going to go to the audience in a second. What are your thoughts on Somerset declining to play cup match? That's your question today. We have obviously Somerset fans in the audience starting with their nonsense. Carla Johnson, George's is not ready. They haven't been ready for a long time. Well,
just choosing violence again.
Yeah, you know, St. George's aren't the ones that declined the offer. We have another one, Angeline Butler, Kales.
Just tuning in. I'm a St. George's fan, but I agree with Somerset. Now it's even. Clean slate 2022. Cup match will not be the same if held this year.
All right. And Elizabeth says, oh, I'm not joking. Okay. Thanks for clearing that up. I'm Larry Sam Cat Playster.
What about the fact that regulations around travel are still there? We cannot celebrate freedom without being totally free. Maybe that's a part of the thought too.
Yeah, that's interesting. I did see a post. I can't remember what, maybe it was All Things Politics Bermuda. And it was, how can we celebrate emancipation if we're not free? How can we celebrate emancipation if a safe key is needed for this event? How? So that's an interesting point of view as well.
Yeah.
And I think if those are the things that Somerset are saying, look, we can't afford this and we can't do that, I understand that part. But with the statement, it was just a bit too vague and broad in general. And then it just throws in that last part, and cricket readiness is not there. Like, come on, man. We guys have been playing cricket the whole life. They know who they're playing. It's not like they're waiting to face Australia or Sri Lanka that's flying in. Come on, stop.
You're right.
Play cricket.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it from that point of view. Everybody knows how everybody bowls, how everybody bats. Everybody knows everything about everybody. You're absolutely correct. So yeah, it seems like there's a little bit of pettiness going on here.
Yes.
So do they forfeit the cup? How does that work?
In my opinion, they should.
Well, I mean, I said what I said on Facebook. I'm just saying, if someone declines, doesn't the other person get a victory? But Elizabeth says Bermeems did that last year. I think the educational part. I'm gonna start calling Bermeems one of the saviors of Bermuda's culture. I swear.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I just hope they get the respect and money that they deserve. I'm not shy about that. Dr. Kendra Lee Pierman says Michaela's family were part of starting cup match in 1902. Wow.
Yes. Yes, we were.
Well, she kept that a secret. But
sorry.
No wonder she pushed back about her cricket skills, right? It's probably in the bloodline.
Hey, it's in the blood, okay?
Janae Pereira Edna says, miss me with the match fitness when I've witnessed few players drink and smoke during breaks of the game. Wow.
I didn't want to go there, but yeah.
Let's go one more comment before we get back to Larry, because I want to hear what else. Wesley Robinson says, as someone red and blue through and through, I'm disappointed after 2 years of not celebrating our heritage. Both clubs should have been chomping at the bit. I understand the factors that Larry outlined, but you have to make something happen. This can bring us all back together. So what are some of the things that you're hearing from the players, like about this decision? Obviously, you mentioned Stephen Otterbridge. Anyone else?
Well, a couple of players, and they would wish not to be named and whatnot. Some are saying, you know what, we're just not ready and speak from a cricketing perspective. But a group of them and a group of former players are saying, no, this needs to happen. I just don't understand it. And a few feel that they understand where certain players are with, the safety and whatnot. The issue is that when I talk to and what Janae just spoke of with certain players and the activity, you put yourself in a position to start talking about health and safety and not ready for cricket and stuff like that. And then, will you be partying that weekend? And if are you going to be maintaining your social distancing, wearing masks the whole time? Like, so if this is really about the safety and those types of protocols, we need to be consistent with it. And right now, it just seems a bit of inconsistency right now.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to bring up, because if it's a health and safety issue, then I want to see all these Somerset people. Anytime I see them, I want to see them masked up. I want to see them socially distant. I want to see them complying to every single rule and protocol. Don't be out in the raft. Don't be doing any of those things. But I do find it interesting that it's the membership who decided. And like you said, it seems as though there are some of the players who are like, we want to play. So how is it that the membership is the one who's deciding and not the players? That's interesting.
I guess that's the way their cricket democracy works. But go ahead, Larry. Sorry.
And I find what is most disappointing, and I think, we spoke on it, the reasoning for the game, and I just see that it's so many. It comes down to you're making so much excuses to not celebrate emancipation in the way how we're normally used to celebrating it. And I think emancipation and the reason for the game is being lost, and it's a bit of petty. And that's a sad reality that we're kind of dealing with.
Well, remember a couple of weeks ago, we actually spoke on this show, and we actually celebrated Bermudians for the spirit. And we touched on one Bermuda Day. We touched on Cup match last year, Sleepy Hollow, and Bermuda Day, I was referencing Loyal Hill, right? We touched on St. David's and Good Friday and Sleepy Hollow last year in Cup match. And I see Deshaun Simmons is saying, asking Sleepy Hollow offering plots. And then we have Karen Edward Simmons, everybody going Sleepy Hollow. Let me just state, and this, look, they call me the bus thrower. I'm not throwing anyone on the bus, but someone who's a part of the Daily Hour family got bowled out by an 8-year-old down Sleepy Hollow last year during the Cup match spectacular.
And he will be dropped this year. I can tell you that.
Oh, okay. He'll be dropped. Okay. Larry. So
I was about to say,
we're in Sherry, we're in Leanna, we're in Kales, we're in me, we're in Jackie. So yeah, we did the thing. But I say this because I want Bermudians to understand that you all have it within you. You've proven it. You've proven that you don't need big money. You don't need government to do things, to celebrate the occasions. And so as Dr. Pirman says, I think people will frown on this, but she has a point. She says, maybe there can be a friendly game with the veterans, right? I think what we don't want is the day to go by or the days to go by and have no acknowledgement. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, was last year not the first time that Mary Prince Day was officially recognized?
I believe last year.
Yeah.
So we haven't even really, truly, been able to celebrate that without a pandemic. So I just think, when we look at it, it is beyond cricket for me, but cricket has been the highlight for so
Yeah.
long. So I think, and I think Larry stated this on a Pure Sports Radio episode, is that, yes, cricket is an important part of it, but this is an opportunity to really, really go beyond cricket. Bobby Singh, Kales.
Exactly, Michaela. Sad and petty if this decision to not participate is due to not St. Joe to get anything. In my opinion, St. George's wins by default. Yeah.
And I think she's a Somerset fan. I could be wrong.
Bobby is St. George's, boo.
Oh, thank you.
I'm pretty sure.
I just said she's a Giants fan, red and blue. I just figured. Monica Dunstan, Larry.
It's unfortunate, but now that outside is open again, it opens the door for promoters to do something for the people.
Yeah, this is true.
But then we have to wait for government approval as well.
Right, because are there still limits on it?
Yeah, so it's a maximum of 100 people.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I've spoken to a couple of promoters who have things in the waiting and are literally just waiting.
I know we joked about Sleepy Hollow, right? And folks, Liana's just having a bit of trouble. That's why we haven't gone to the news yet. So just bear with us. I know we've talked about Sleepy Hollow. It was a nice atmosphere last year. Larry, you and Juggling Jason were there as a part of it. Here's my concern. It was great for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
If I live in Sleepy Hollow, I don't want hundreds and probably thousands of people coming down to Sleepy Hollow. Let's keep it real, right? So maybe go to Shelley Bayfield, right, and do something. The Sleepy Hollow thing wasn't meant to be this big thing that people started coming out to. Let's be honest. So I just want, I think, let me ask you a question. And folks, I'm not sending any shade towards Somerset and St. George's because I like to do that. But this is a real question for everyone involved. Do you think the clubs have too much control over this 2-day holiday?
Yes.
I say no, to be honest, because the clubs struggle year in, year out. And these are the 2 days where they make their most money. And I just feel like if Somerset doesn't want to play ball in this situation, there's nothing that's stopping St. George's from doing something. If you want to do an all-star cricket game, 2020 each day, whatever it is, let's do something. Let's do something. Let's preserve our culture, because ultimately that's what it is. It's our culture, And I mean, my nana's in her 80s now, but my nana used to go to cricket, to cup match both days. Every year she would get there 9 o'clock in the morning. That's what she did because that's her culture. And now it's just like, what are we doing?
Okay. And Larry, you say they do have too much control.
I think they have just a touch bit more than I would like to see. At the end of the day, I think the cricket is extremely important to cup match, but it's about the people and the celebration of emancipation first. And I think they make it about, and you see it sometimes with the selection of the teams. Do they pick a person? Oh, no, I want to do it because this person plays league cricket for my club and those types of things that go on. So, it's unfortunate. And I wish that, to me, Bermuda cricket loses out on a decision like this. And I honestly don't think that Somerset understand the ramifications of this. If I'm a Somerset person or a non-Somerset person, how do I support Somerset Cricket Club now?
Yeah,
I truly feel that they're done the country dirty. How do I go and support them for anything?
Okay.
And sorry, real quick, if we have the Sleepy Hollows and going to Shelley Bay and an all-star game there, then how do you do? You don't know if you get those fans back.
Yeah. So let's bring Liana to the conversation. I want to bring Liana in because I know, Michaela, I believe you've done it previously as well, but Liana actually hosts Cup Match a lot. So have it as a person who hosts it out there with the fans, I just want to get her perspective, how she feels about it not taking place. Lee, you've been listening. What are your thoughts on Cup Match not taking place as a person who's been around hosting it in recent years? You got us, Lee? You there? I'm not sure if she can hear us. Lee, you there? All right, she is not with us. All right, so let's go. Let's go take a commercial break. We've got to wrap it up. Larry, thank you for the contribution. Real quick, I have one last question for you, and I don't know if you're going to answer. I don't know if you can answer. But Kales, this is a trick one. for the Somerset players who are unhappy and unable to basically went public, do you feel that they'll be able to move forward and play for Somerset and Cup match again?
You mean if they speak out publicly, will they play Cup match again? Well, speaking with Stephen last night, he recognized that he probably has played his last Cup match, especially with speaking out publicly like this.
Wow.
Stephen's 38, which is, he's my age. So, okay, you could say he's on his way out and whatnot, but, it wouldn't go. I think if you speak out publicly, it will be a stain on your reputation as far as the cricket club goes.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. All right, Larry, thank you for these updates, and I'll definitely be looking out for Stephen's words. And folks, it's no Cup match, no cricket game, I should say. So, yeah, let's see what our intelligent, creative Bermudians come up with. We'll be back with town crier Ed Christopher to talk about, maybe the city of Hamilton will take over and do some things over the 2-day holiday. Check it out. Stick with us. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors, and not to mention the support stockings.
Karen, Miss Soltis bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days, I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
We're spotlighting our old friends Woodstock Farms, who started up 50 years ago in the belief that we need more trustworthy natural food sources. Starting with one product, their line, mostly certified organic, is now more than 250 strong in 10 categories. This month we're featuring accoutrements of the barbecue, for us the pinnacle of home cuisine and one of the few forms of restorative recreation now within our reach. Try Woodstock Organic Sweet Relish, Tomato Ketchup, Baby Kosher Dill Pickles, Sauerkraut, and Hickory and Original Barbecue Sauce. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the Big Show. She's Michaela Ian. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over at Channel 82, where you can stream this and many other locally produced shows as well. Kales, I have an apology to make.
Okay.
Well, you were right as usual.
Well, I mean, that's obvious, but okay.
Bobby says, bite your tongue, Jamal.
Oh, Jim, listen, I met Bobby when she first moved to Bermuda, like within a month when she moved to Bermuda. So I know Bobby is a St. George.
I thought Bobby and I were best friends, I guess.
Nope. Me and Bobby go way back.
All right. Well, that said, thank you all so much for your contribution this morning. Thanks again to Larry. You'll be seeing Larry a lot more as our sports correspondent. As you can see, he's in the know. He got us the juice today. So Somerset looks like trouble in the camp. We'll say that. But let's get the fields goods up in here with the town crier, Mr. Ed Christopher, in the house. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, and welcome to you. It's good to be here. Hey, morning, Michaela. How you doing, darling? Great after seeing you. How can I not be?
So, I'll take it.
So hold on. We've got to ask, since we're having this conversation, which side do you rock with for Cup match?
Well, somebody's got to break the thing. You guys have been old Somerset. I mean old St. George's. I'm a Somerset fan.
We're in light blue.
I wear light blue, but I bleed red.
I think Kales, we probably should ask people this after the show because it really sets a bad
That's true. That's true.
But we're happy to have you, sir. Honestly,
Well, everybody has to have. If it wouldn't be no St. George's if it wasn't a Somerset to fight it. It wouldn't be no Somerset if it wasn't a St. George's to be. So we need to have that camaraderie. Or else, you know what I mean? We need to have it.
Yeah. No, I get it. My house is divided, so I totally get it.
Everybody's house in Bermuda is divided.
Yeah, well, my wife was indoctrinated, so yeah, I believe she's for St. George. At least she better be. But look, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming on. I remember, no lie, and this is a true story. I want to say it may have been a happy hour back in the day. I went to a happy hour and I saw this guy as the lead singer for a band. and I was like, that looks like the town crier, but does the town crier sing, and so on. And so I was told, yeah, that's him. Yes, he's an entertainer. So before we get into the conversation, just tell people a bit about your background. I've seen you performing. For those who don't know, who is Ed Christopher?
Well, I'm my mother's son, first of all. Well, I wear many hats. I've been in the entertainment field in many avenues, from backstage to theater. I'm a born thespian. I do sing. I'm with Prestige. We've been together for over 20 years. I'm a product of Bermuda because most Bermudians from my day and before and all that, we had it was no such thing as a job that you couldn't do. So if something came up, you did it. I was also I was a pirate out Hawkins Island. I was Sea Dog the Pirate. I've done so many different things, but a lot to do with the entertainment. So I've been in entertainment all my life, and the thought of being town crier is, then the world becomes your stage. Yeah. So you're always into theater, you're always acting, you're always performing. And so that I mean, how can I go wrong with it? How can I not comment?
That's amazing. So with your background in entertainment, how did you actually become the city of Hamilton's town crier?
I think we're having some little technical difficulties. I couldn't hear your question.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So how did you actually become the city of Hamilton's town crier?
Long story short, back in 94 when the Queen was coming, so in 93, Roger Sherritt, who was then secretary of the corporation, said the Queen called me in and asked if the Queen was coming in 94, if I would be town crier for a day. He didn't say it was a biblical day, which means it never ends. But yeah, for to announce the arrival of the Queen, introduce the Queen when she came and stuff like that. And I said, okay, with long story short, and I'm still doing it. So that was in 94. That's how it started. And then they called me in to do different events and stuff. And then one day I took it upon myself. That's when the ships used to come into Hamilton. So I took it upon myself to, make a little extra money, let's be honest, little tips and stuff, cry in the ships and take pictures with tourists. And so Roger Sherritt there called me back up to corporation. Yeah, this was a few years ago, and said, look, we can't have you down there doing the ships and stuff like that. We want to put you on, we need to pay you for it. I thought just gonna say stop doing it.
Right.
And so that's how it started, and I started doing stuff for the corporation.
Wow. So it's been years and years and years. But for those of us who don't really know what the town crier does, can you explain to us exactly what that role looks like and what you do?
Well, right now it's more of a marketing role, putting a face. At the time, it was putting a face on the city that encompasses Bermuda. A lot of it was introducing the mayor at his special events, opening conventions, ribbon cutting things at new businesses, writing proclamations, reading proclamations. I'm a professional reader, but even though that in school, that was one of my worst subjects.
Wow.
As a child, I had a little. It still comes out every night. I had a little speech impediment, so I tend to. What got me into what I do now, as far as the tours and stuff, is listening. And so I hated. I didn't talk much. I listened a lot and listened to what was going on. And then I became an instigator in that if it's a story I wanted to hear, I would, because Bermudians love to talk. They love to tell stories. It's a thing. So you start a conversation while you go up and say, you know what, I heard this happen. That didn't happen. You guys are telling the whole part of lies. And then I sit back and listen and let them tell the story. So I think listening became a very good part of what I knew rather than reading.
Right. Okay. And what would you say is your favorite part of the job? Because you've gone over all the different things that you do. What's the part that you love the most?
People, putting a smile on a person's face, seeing somebody smile when they see you. I think in my mind, breaks up the day for a little bit and allows them to exhale. So just seeing a smile on a person's face when they see me, I know that I've done my job, and that's it in life. You just want to put a smile on people's faces, and if they remember you when you come by, or I don't even have to be in a uniform. And that in itself is like an applaud from a great show that you've been in.
Right. No, I love that. And so over the years, I've seen you walking around with tourists. So I know that you do tours, but I understand that you've got some new things happening. So tell us about the tours that you do.
Well, one of the major tours, we have a free tour that leaves City Hall here at 10:30, and we walk through. I started the tours about 10, 12 years ago, and it was in Hamilton. And everybody, after the first couple of years, everybody was talking about Front Street, Church Street, and Reed Street. People were forgetting about Backertown, as we call it in the day. You can call it Old Town, whichever you want to call it now. But I decided that we need to take the tours back a time, because everybody's talking about don't go Court Street, don't do this back a time, don't do it. So my tours actually envelops the real Hamilton, which it goes all the way over to North Street. So, and most of our history of Hamilton is in the residential area, North Hamilton. And the expressions I get, even just taking Bermuda, say this is a tour for Bermuda. People just don't think it's just a tour for tourists. It's a tour for Bermudians. It's great for schools and stuff. Learn about our history in the area of Hamilton itself, an envelope that branches out through the whole island, just like St. George's. Learn a little bit of history of St. George's that branches out through the whole island, because as much as people like to separate us or try to separate us by parish and stuff like that, Bermuda is small, and we are all on one hand, and we need to envelop all of our history and not just parts of it. So a little bit of each day. So you might just learn one thing, but it's something that helps to glue. It's the glue of Bermuda, our history.
Right. Okay. That's fantastic. Can you tell me what the highlights of the tours are?
Yes, we go. We do the original stuff, like we go to the cathedral, City Hall here itself, where Hamilton Hotel was built. Where Zion Chapel, the first church in the city of Hamilton, also the first church that allowed blacks and white to being together. We go back a time. Everybody's talking about Want the House now. I've been getting around there. I've been talking about Want the House for over 10, 12 years since it's been run down, to the history of where Berkeley started at St. Martin's Hall, part of the African diaspora. We do, when we get a chance to, we take them to the House of Parliament. We take them to Sessions House, and they can see where our government sit and where they argue about what color soap should be. I'm kidding. And going into Backertown and going up, I have access to some residents, and we can go up on a high area, and they can look out and see the pastel colors and see the beauty of Parsons Road area and all the way through Marsh Folly. So that yes, that's what makes Bermuda. And walking along the streets and seeing Bermudians coming up saying hello and telling a little bit of story. As you notice, people would say that you do tours and stuff like that there, and it starts this time and it ends this time. You'll notice that my tour says starting time. It's a Bermudian, it's a Bermudian tour. So you meet people along the way and you let them tell their story.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
Just an amazing experience for people.
That's the whole idea. We want a Bermudian experience. Remember, we started upon a rock, being wrecked upon a rock. It took them 10 months to get out of here. why are we trying to get the people out of here in 10 minutes?
No, I
Let them
totally get
embrace
it.
the time. Let them
Right.
embrace the time and feel the spirit of Bermuda,
I love it. So how can people book your tours?
You can go on the City of Hamilton.bm. You could go to the tour section there and you can book through the tours there. Remember, it's a free tour, so you can show up as well. But during this pandemic, we prefer you to sign up so we can know in case something happens. Other than that, you can go, you can come show up, but we're going to ask you to sign away so we can contact you should anything go wrong. But it is free. It starts at 10:30. It's Monday to Friday, except holidays. And special events. There are, of course, I have to accompany the mayor at special events and stuff like that. So it would be times where it wouldn't happen during those times. Or if I'm off island representing the island or the city, they can contact me, Tom Crier at cityhall.bm. Then also, if they have stories to tell or they see me somewhere and they want to take a picture and stuff and share it, they can also share it on my Twitter. Now that they ask hashtag City Town Crier BDA.
All right.
Yeah,
I want to go back to something you said because when people hear City of Hamilton, honestly, they think City Hall, Front Street, and I like how you working in. You mentioned Wantley House, right? And it was a conversation last week, and there's a show called Good Day Bermuda, and I believe the girls from Good Day Bermuda are going to be doing your walking tour with you as a part of that show.
Right.
But they had a question about Wantley House, and I responded. I was like, man, burn that thing down. I'm like, nobody cared about it all this time, right? No one knew about it, right? Now, obviously, I'm the instigator just trying to get conversation going. So that's why I said it on the show at the time. Let's have some different opinion. But the truth is I think that should really stand out to people right now who are listening and watching, because we love to say that, well, they didn't teach me this or this wasn't around. And what you're doing is so important. And what you also said, the tours are not just for tourists, they're for Bermudians as well. So I want people to understand there are things available to us. We had the CEO of the BTA on when he was announced, Charles H. Jeffers II. And he said something. He said that, having lived outside of Bermuda for 30 something years, one of the things he realized is a lot of Bermudians have not been to maybe Crystal Caves in a long time, or experienced different things that a lot of tourists do in Bermuda in a long time. And he said it's time for Bermudians to rediscover Bermuda. And I think a lot of what you offer, right, is a part of what he's speaking about, rediscovering Bermuda. And I am just so happy that you incorporate back of town, as this has been called, North Hamilton to some, into your tours, because Hamilton is more than just Front Street and City Hall.
Yeah, it's a resident area as well. And if we don't embrace and trying to separate Hamilton, that's what they did in the early days. And the whole idea is to envelop and also have the knowledge. And then when you think about that, most of the history started in the Baccarat area. We have the labor movement, the workers movement. We have union. All that started in pretty much in the North Hamilton area. So why can't we? Everybody's saying, "Oh, they don't teach it in school," but I've learned something, and we have all had our grandparents or family members come to the house, have a few drinks. Just sit and listen to the elderly ones, to the mature, to the seniors, because, they say believe half of what you hear, but that half that you need to believe is something that you can build on.
Indeed.
Go out and ask questions. When I started this tour, I will tell you the truth. I started the tour because it was something that they wanted to, they wanted the Tom Crier, as Tom Crier, bringing me on board, something else for me to do. So they said, come up with an idea. And I said, let me start a walking tour. And in starting the walking tour, I did the same thing that I told you that I did doing it in the beginning. I'll go by and I'll see somebody walking and I'll stop and talk to them. Like let's say Otto Simmons is walking down the street, and I'll be with a group of people, and I'll say, "Oh, this is Otto Simmons. He was head of the union for a long time. Mr. Simmons, come on over here, and tell these people what you did." And I'm listening. And take from that. Then he'll say, I'll be walking down the street, and somebody will say, "Oh, like say for instance, Dr. Smith that earns that his son earns at the house that's on the corner opposite AME Church there, where they started, where Doctor's Road was." I'll be walking down the street and they say, "Oh, this is Dr. Smith. So this was the house was where," because my doctor, my personal doctor, Dr. Leah Sheviter, had it started in this area. And then we go into the story about how how the doctors, when they came, didn't have an area to work in. So these homes, open rooms in their homes to allow young doctors to start their practice in and stuff. So, and then he'll tell the story about his father, how he got started and stuff. So, and I'm listening. So I pick up as I go along. I don't know it all.
Right.
And I could get things wrong. But the person that has right could be standing right next to you, and then you learn. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask questions or listen to when somebody's talking about a special area, because it's never 100% that you've got it all. And it's always an avenue for learning.
Indeed. Stacy Grant says, has Mr. Christopher thought of doing a back of town tour for locals? I hear the Curve has deep roots in history.
Yes, we do. I do all different types of tours. My tours, I can do special tours to envelope whatever group wants to come, what they want to be. I can gear my tours towards that. It's not, Hamilton is not just, I mean, you can walk around Hamilton in 3 hours and still not see or know have not something left to talk about. So yes, we do special tours to gear what people want to talk about. They've learned a lot. You got the area of, you're talking about the Curve Sunshine League, Mariah Band's home, the blacksmith shop, or Mr. Black started in the 1950s and stuff like that, being one of the blacksmiths and stuff, the area. So yes, we do,
Okay. Heather O'Connell says, never heard of these tours, going to bring my kids on the summer break. Thank you. And you know what? I love that. I love that for so many reasons, because I remember seeing you when I was working in tourism. And I think I said to you before we came on air, I'm like, how did I never ever do this when I worked in tourism? How did I never do it? And I know many Bermudians see you on a daily basis, walking around the city, and I'm just like, just jump in line during a lunch break, and you really might learn something. Like, okay, no jokes, real seriously, Michaela, I learned today that her family was a part of the first cup match. Like, to me, that's huge. You know what I'm saying? So when you just said that, we may learn something from someone that we're there trying to teach or even having a conversation with, learning doesn't stop. And no. I want to highlight something you said, because you said it in the most diplomatic way possible. I'm going to change the wording on it, so I'm not putting words in it, but we can't keep using the excuse that because it wasn't taught in school as a reason we don't know these things. Yeah. And so on that note, I want to say thank you to yourself and the city of Hamilton for what you do and for incorporating, all aspects of the city in what you do. And on that note, is there anything you want someone who is probably never comes into the city, someone who may live in, I hate to do it, but if one place we pick on, it's St. David's, someone who lives in St. David's that maybe doesn't come to town, what would you do to entice them to come and do one of your tours?
Is that the thought of this is that St. David's, or anywhere in Bermuda, that when even from the early days, their family members came to explore the whole island. The whole island is an adventure. Mm-hmm. And if you want a new adventure, if you're only into your own area of home and stuff like that, and you want to, and with this pandemic now, you should know every blade of grass outside your house. Mm-hmm. It's time to look at somebody else's blade and see if they grow faster than yours. or see what fertilizer they're using to make theirs look a little greener. But just get a new adventure. I think we don't have to, and you don't have to go far.
Yeah. Let's leave on this note. Fan Lamb, because I want to say, Fan Lamb says, I want to know, how does he maintain all of this energy? And I was going to say, you're probably the happiest person we've ever had on this show, because the energy is so good. How do you keep it going every day? That's important.
I've over and my children and all. It's a thought of this, is that as a young person in life, I was never expected to live long. When I was a baby, I was never expected. I would be in a preemie to be as tall as I am. I was never expected to achieve. Coming from where we came from, our family was very poor and stuff. Achieved the accolades that we've achieved. So every day in life, for me, I feel blessed.
I love it.
And even when I'm done, and I remember even as a child, and this is what used to happen when I was a child. If I was done or mad or something like that, my not knowing what my mother was doing, but she'll send me to the store, and the store would be a walk, and I can get 25 yards from the house, and I've forgotten what I was mad at, and I'll be singing a song or dancing, and then I'll get to where I'm going and say, "Oh, I'm supposed to be mad. I'm not supposed to be this happy." So it's automatic that I try not to allow the obstacles in life control my feelings.
Awesome.
And so I embrace the happiness of being where I am, of just living. Awesome. Life is just for living.
It's contagious, because some people probably watching this show would say, I've never seen Jamal smile so much, but it's definitely contagious. Crier Ed Christopher, thank you so much for trusting our platform to have this conversation, and we'll definitely look forward to watching the ladies on Good Day Bermuda do the tour with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, I could not do this without the strength of the team that's behind. Because yes, I'm the person out in front, but the team here at City Hall that does the events department. Without these ladies, I'm gonna tell you guys out there, ladies, women, strength of Bermuda, they do all the work. We might be the face, but they do all the work, and I would be it would be amiss for me for not to say to them thank you publicly for what they do, and made and so yeah, I have a great group of ladies beside me, pushing me forward. So thank you,
sir, and we'll be in touch with you soon.
Okay,
thank you so much.
All right, enjoy.
He isn't wrong about the latest. You see who asks most of the questions on this show, and you see who's coming in now and does our news break. And look, the people behind the scenes, it's only Larry and me, folks, well outnumbered. But Leanna's going to do the news for us real quick. But Lee, are you going to do one of the tours now?
I am. So I love Mr. Christopher, and actually working in town and working at Gosling. And I know when Mr. Christopher comes across with his tour groups, we're all standing out on the warehouse loading dock, and he just literally I never have seen so many men smile because he comes across. They're all yelling out to him, and he just makes everyone's day. So I was having some technical difficulties, and I apologize, but you know what? It's all gonna be good.
It's all good. It's all good. So, folks, if you enjoyed that conversation with the town crier, Mr. Ed Christopher, you know what to do. Show your love, love. If he made you cry or happy, tears of joy now, tears of joy. Please make sure you show us some love. And Lee, we're going to go to the news break. Then we'll have the Daily Play. Do not go anywhere. This is a very educational Daily Play. All right, my friends, stick with us.
Thanks, Jamal and Michaela, and good morning to everyone tuned in with us, both locally and abroad. I hope everyone is having a great start to their day. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for our daily hour news break. So here's what's going on in today's top stories. A man is in the intensive care unit today after he was shot several times in a daylight attack. Now, according to police, a caller contacted 911 to report a shooting incident at the dock at Darrell's Wharf, just off of Harbor Road in Warwick, around 7:30 last evening. Initial reports say that the victim got out of the car that he was in when he was approached by two men on a dark-colored motorcycle who opened fire, shooting the victim multiple times and leaving him with life-threatening injuries. Now, a witness attempted to stop passing motorists, one who actually pulled over to offer assistance. Police say that details of the suspects were limited. However, the passenger was said to be wearing a sky blue jacket and that they headed in a westerly direction along Harbor Road. Now, the victim was rushed to King Edward Hospital, where at last check he was said to be in stable condition. An investigation into the incident has been launched, and police are appealing for witnesses to come forward. The Women's Resource Center has rejected a $20,000 donation from U.S. fashion retail company Revolve because of the quote-unquote wrapped up controversy that erupted on social media last week. Now, the charity was offered the cash on Tuesday by an individual who did not mention with their association of the online store Revolve. But after the charity established the offer was made on behalf of Revolve, they were said to have turned the cash down. Tina Laws, the executive director of the Women's Resource Center, said that they were stringent about vetting all donation requests to ensure that they are in alignment with the mission to empower women. Now, Ms. Laws said once that they had confirmed the individual was involved with the business, they looked it up. And she said that although Revolve was in alignment with the charity's mission, due to the controversy, they did not wish to be associated with it. A total of 6 motorists appeared in magistrates' court this week for traffic offenses, with one accused of traveling more than 3 times the speed limit. A police spokesperson said that the man, who was said to be age 52, denied speeding earlier this week. The speed limit, as we know, is 35 kilometers. He is said to have been speeding at 109. Now, his case was adjourned until July 5th, and the man was released on bail. The other road users who appeared between Monday and Tuesday were fined a total of $2,010 for traffic offenses. The spokesperson said that the traffic offenses and parish patrols issued between 70 and 100 tickets every week. Now, there were 51 speeding tickets handed out just between Friday morning and Monday morning. A total of 23 advice notices. Formal warnings were handed out over the same time period. The police said they are continuing to conduct appropriate enforcement regarding traffic offenses island-wide. And in order to achieve a high level of road safety, they said that we all must do our part to minimize the risk of any more injuries or deaths on Bermuda's roads. And if you held out hope in seeing our most iconic cultural tradition go off this year, unfortunately, you'll have to wait another year. As you've probably already heard, and we've been talking about it, Somerset Cricket Club have broken silence on their reasonings for declining to take part in cup match at the Classic at Wellington Oval. Now, the club said in a statement that they have withdrawn after much deliberation over health and safety concerns amid the COVID-19 pandemic and the lack of cricket that they feel impede the integrity of the annual two-day match. St. George's members were in favor of staging the match at a meeting on Tuesday night. The East Enders subsequently submitted an official challenge to rival Somerset, which the champions later turned down. A cup match was cancelled for the first time in its 119th year history last year because of the pandemic. Looking at today's weather, we have a high near 78 and a low near 71 degrees. Cloudy showers will increase by evening with a risk of thunder. Winds are south-southwesterly moderate with a chance of a lull where winds become light and variable for a time should a low center pass overhead. Otherwise, expect gusts to strong in and around showers. Now, in the wake of the front, high pressure will bring brighter skies with a slightly cooler, settled, and less humid breeze for Friday evening and through most of the weekend. That's all for our daily hour news break. Let's head back in the studio with Jamal and Michaela.
Thanks so much, Lee, and we will see you tomorrow Audience, do not go anywhere. Daily Play coming up next.
Tune in to the Full 100 Radio every Tuesday through Sunday at 7 p.m. Bermuda time as we bring you the love, romance, sexiness with nighttime jams. Only on your station for conversations and entertainment. The Full 100 Radio. Download the app available for Android and Apple devices.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Larry for the Cup Match Inside information, Mr. Ed Christopher, the town crier, and Lee for the news break. The Daily Play brought to you by Heineken Zero. Great taste, no alcohol, folks. So here's
alcohol.
I said alcohol. Alcohol, sorry. Great taste, no alcohol. I can't even pronounce it anymore. That's what happens when you stop. So I'm going to tell you the place. St. Kitts and Nevis. All right?
Okay.
That's the place. Here's the question.
Oh, God.
What popular stew is made from animals that can be seen in herds throughout St. Kitts and Nevis?
What popular stew?
Is made from animals that can be seen in herds throughout St. Kitts and Nevis.
Goat stew?
Wow.
That's right. Okay.
It's actually goat water, but yeah, it's goats. Yeah, you got it,
I
Kales.
eat goat, so like
Yeah, you got it. I thought that one would have stumped you, but
Nope.
yeah, you're a different animal. You're just your brain, man. You look. Give me some daily inspiration, please.
Oh gosh, daily inspiration. Yes, of course. Now my phone wants to time out. Let's get it up. All right. Very simple. Do not give your past the power to define your future.
Oh, that's simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very simple, direct to the point, folks. To the point. Kales, what are your thoughts on today's show from Cup Match to Mr. Christopher? Like, what are your thoughts?
I really just want us all to remember the history of Cup Match and focus on that. And I'd like something to happen so that we can go ahead and celebrate that. Mary Prince deserves to be celebrated.
Indeed. And I agree. I think let's find a way to ensure that we can actually be out and about and celebrating it. I know we'll have Rashida Godwin, who does tours on later in the month or early July. She does stuff. I want hopefully she'll be doing something then. So yeah, this is a time to learn and educate. As you've seen at the bottom of the screen, don't forget to download the Full 100 app for Android and Apple devices. If you're unable to watch the show, you can at least listen to the show that way. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Lindos for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go type in the Daily Hour and subscribe and hit the notifications bell. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we will be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She is Michaela Ian, and I am Jamal Hartman. My friends, make it a great day. Peace.